Claret and Blue, an Aston Villa podcast brought to you by Birmingham Live. Hello, welcome back to the Claret and Blue podcast, live on YouTube, Twitter and Facebook as always on a match day evening. I'm joined by Ashley Priest from what looks like a warehouse, but it's the concourse at Turf Moor. You just said, Ash, before we started, match days are mad. So I appreciate your time as always. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm much better after a win, so it makes the job a little bit easier, doesn't it? And so yeah, buzzing with that. Really good today, Dan. I don't know if you've seen it or not, any clips, but Villa were very good. Yeah, ruthless up front for once as well. Really, really good up front. And Buendia, star of the show.
Yeah, we'll get into all that and more as we go through. Apologies to the podcast listeners. Ash's audio is a bit echoey, but as you can see, where he is, this is the nature of the beast. Let's go back, as we always do, and start with first things first. Team news. It makes sense to do it in chronological order. We kind of said, didn't we, yesterday in our Facebook Live preview, maybe it wasn't quite the location for Coutinho to shine, so maybe it was time for Buendia. He comes in at number 10 behind the two strikers. Tim Irabunum is not dropped, but dropped from the Norwich game effectively, and Douglas Luiz is back in there replacing Ramsey. And who's the other one midfield? McGinn, Luiz, all over the place already.
Douglas Luiz.
McGinn, Luiz. And who else played in midfield?
Callum Chambers.
There we go. A forgettable performance, let's just say that instead. Callum Chambers playing in holding midfield. There's a little bit of talk pre-game about whether that was going to be a three at the back, but I wasn't quite sure that was going to be the case. A forgettable performance, I think. Not too great, not too bad. Give me your thoughts then on team news. You're obviously at Burnley when it drops through in the press box and all that kind of stuff. What's the reaction?
Well, prior to that, we had a good chat in the press lounge saying, is it right to start Tim Irabunum today? Burnley away, they're fighting for the lives. I think it'd be unfair to start him. So that was an interesting little chat we had prior to the team news announcement. And it proved true, didn't it? You put Callum Chambers in there. You can see why, really, given the threat they posed. Burnley going two up front, and pumping balls into the box. And it was a surprise to see Chambers in there. That was the standout, and obviously Coutinho being dropped for the first time. We did call that yesterday. Buendia take his chance. Really took his chance. And Gerrard was asked afterwards, "Do you need Coutinho now? Do you need him?" And Gerrard's answer, "I want them both. I want them both here next season. Two good players that can play together. They can't play every week. I know that, but he wants them both for next season." He stressed it again. So. He wants that deal to go through, regardless of Buendia's form.
I was going to ask you that question, actually, so we'll come to that a little bit later. I know that's Gerald's answer is going to be that, isn't it? He's always going to say he wants him. He's certainly not going to come out and go, "Oh, we don't need him," because that sets the totally wrong tone. But he's always going to want, a manager who wants as many players as possible, so I understand that. But it's not a bad substitute, is it, when you're 2-0 up already or 3-0 up to go, you know what, let's get Coutinho some minutes. Yeah. That's it. That shows how far we've come, I suppose, that Philip Coutinho is now a substitute.
Exactly. The strength in depth there, isn't there? With that one, and there'll be more to come in the summer. Some more big names, I suspect, as well. But on that showing, I think Danny Ings was very good today. That's 4 in 4 with Burnley for him. He looked really sharp. And as did Watkins. Try and get back in some light. It's good, this isn't it? But where was with Coutinho? I think Gerrard stressed that we've got Liverpool on Tuesday. Games coming thick and fast now throughout this month. Coutinho's played a lot of football, hasn't he? And I asked Gerrard, was Coutinho happy being dropped? He said, was he disappointed? But no, he wasn't disappointed. He realised why we'd take him out of the team. He's played a lot of football lately, and he realised that Buendia deserves a crack from the start. And the pair of them get on really well behind the scenes as well. And he was buzzing with what Buendia produced out there today as well. So Gerrard said there's no egos in this group. They're a good set of lads, and they're all striving for the same thing. So that bodes well. Gerrard challenged them before the game. Burnley got a purpose, but so have we. We've got a real purpose, and go and show that today. I want to finish in the top half this season. That's the carrot for Villa now, and really impressive showing today. Really was.
I thought a win would have taken us into the top half, but it doesn't. If I quickly flash up the league table,
Palace won, didn't they?
Yeah, we're 11th. Palace winning as well, up to 44 points for them, 43 for us. I mean, that Palace game, if we beat them at Villa Park that's next Saturday, isn't it? I think
Sunday.
Sunday, that could pretty much be, the winner of that gets top 10 almost. So if you beat them and you beat Burnley at home, then it doesn't guarantee Villa top 10, but it certainly goes a long way to get in there. On Buendia, we've talked a lot, haven't we, this season and in years gone by about having these squad players come in and not really making a difference. somebody's underperforming. This time it's Coutinho, and they get replaced, and the replacement doesn't really do a lot. Bailey in recent weeks not really taking his chance. Buendia, though, I think he come on against Norwich and got an assist in something like 15 minutes of game time.
Yep.
And the first 31, 32 minutes of the day, he's got the assist and the goal, and an impressive all-round performance for the Little Warrior, his new nickname. Good little player. I mean, we say a lot, we're surprised. We spent £38 million on him. This is what he should be doing.
Yeah, I mean, he was player of the month in January, really kicking on in the new year. Then obviously Coutinho comes in, changes the dimension a little bit. But that's only his third goal this season, Dan. Third Villa goal from the Premier League, and you want more from your club record boy. But yeah, his end product's getting there. His assist for the opener as well was brilliant. That way to pass for Ings was exceptional, and that's where you want him. So yeah, I mean, he'll kick on next season. But from what we've seen today, he's showing flashes of why Villa signed him, and like you say, as Steve says there, Buendia, boom, really looks up for it, and real talent on our hands. He's never been in doubt really, but he hasn't shown it on a consistent basis. He's felt sorry for himself a few times. He's been punching the grass and that, been frustrated. Given Villa's season been just the same, hasn't it? Really frustrating season. So good pre-season behind him. He's got a manager who believes in him, and I think he can thrive now.
Talking about the rest of the midfield, then I'll kind of give you, 60 seconds, 90 seconds to assess that midfield trio. First of all, it's Callum Chambers at DM with McGinn and Louise as eights, effectively. So a bit on Louise playing a bit further forward, and Chambers, we said yesterday, didn't we, in the preview, about him being a utility man. Can he be maybe a long-term option at DM, or is he a centre-back?
I think he's a centre-back. I think we've seen it early today, first 5 minutes. I think Burnley jumped on him, struggled with the pace Burnley set, and got dispossessed a few times. But yeah, grew into the game. You can see why he was put in there. His size and stature, he's decent on the ball. And he, like I say, improved as the game went on. But Villa need an out-and-out number 6 to come in there, and a good one at that. Douglas Luiz, good in that number 8 position today. Technically very good. And he proved the point again today. I asked Gerrard about him. He was impressed with him. And with McGinn as well. McGinn's got that physicality you need in the engine room, where I think Douglas lacks that little bit at times. So they complemented each other quite well today, I thought, that midfield three. And obviously the tip of it was Emery Buendia. He's brilliant. So, nice blending there today. You had height, you had a bit of physicality, had a bit of quality on the ball. And, the midfield was very good today. And I think that's what won the Villa the game, to be honest, because that's what started all the moves that went forward. And, very good in there.
Do you think that maybe that system or that balance is more so what we'll see from Gerrard's side next season? Maybe not that specific personnel, but that way of playing and that setup, a proper DM to sit there, 2 8s and then a 10 behind 2 strikers. Will that be the system? Yeah,
it looks so much more balanced in there now. Gerrard likes having Watkins and Ings up front. He complimented them tonight as well. They worked hard for each other. He likes his midfield to be compact, and when you play a diamond like that, you can ask Buendia to drop in, and you can be. So I think that's the system to go forward with now. I really do. He'll have 2 number 10s next season should he get the Coutinho deal done. And he'll obviously want to strengthen in the number 8 positions as well. And I think that's the way to go forward now. It looks really good. It really does. And like you say, so I was surprised to see Carney today. Carney come on for his first appearance since mid-February. So that's promising. You always kick yourself after. I should have asked Gerrard about him, but you can't ask them all. So what that bodes, we shall see. Pretty pleasing.
John Townley wrote a comment piece on Chuckmaker on Wednesday on our Claret and Blue newsletter, which will be on site at some point over the weekend. So if you sign up to the newsletter, you can get exclusive articles like that, kind of saying, he's not played since February. Let's see what Gerrard does with him for the rest of the season. Give him some, the carrot of some minutes and potentially a new deal, and then. Will that happen? Won't it happen? And then literally the next game, Chuckmaker comes on, and to be fair, it looks all right in little spells I've seen from him. A couple of little solo runs.
Yeah.
Big physicality, isn't it, for such a young kid?
Yep. And
if he does sign a long-term contract, you've got him, Irabunam and Ramsey as your kind of next midfield 3 off the ranks kind of thing. Good little system, isn't it? We've got there with the academy, some good youngsters coming through, and then the likes of Barry, Archer, Kessler-Hayden.
How did Swindon do today? Sorry, I kept up.
They finished in the playoffs, but I don't know what the result was. Yeah. I can find out though. But good news. They won 3-0. Harry McCurdy scored 3-0 against Walsall, so they finished
good.
Fourth, I think.
In the playoffs, and brilliant news for Louis Barry. Yeah.
Sixth. So, they finished sixth. They just about sneaked in there. Yeah, playoffs for Louis Barry. But yeah, it's exciting times, isn't it, for the long term of the club with these youngsters coming through, whatever does happen with them.
Yeah, like you said, I think Gerard said the other day, age is just a number. If you're good enough, you'll play. If you're out training your senior pros, you're going to play. That's the bottom line, and that's the demands he's set. We've seen it with Tim, Carney, Jacob's the prime example. A little update on Jacob. He's not going to be ready for Liverpool on Tuesday, we don't think. Okay. That's a bit ambitious for him to play on Tuesday, so he'll miss out there. He would have been probably on the bench anyway, given the form the midfield showed today, but he won't be rushed in, I suspect. So he'll be back for the Palace game, maybe. So that's Jacob. And yeah, it does bode well. But like you say, age is just a number. If you're good enough, you'll play.
There's a comment from, was it Paul? Phil, sorry. Will we play three at the back against Liverpool? Gerard mentioned a formation change. That was in his interview to Villa TV. I don't know whether it was the same in the presser. Kind of talked about, I wish I'd wrote it down, the phrase, something like, we'll make a few tweaks to the personnel and the system or something like that. I don't know whether that means three at the back, whether it means two holding midfielders rather than two number eights, potentially.
Could be.
Again, kind of looking ahead to the next game also and talking about Burnley, but how do you combat Liverpool?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's a bit of a tough one, isn't it, at the moment? They're flying high. Three at the back, I don't know. I think it worked quite well today. You got to watch the Liverpool's wingers cutting in. Obviously, Villa playing so narrow, they're open. They're suspect to being exploited down the side. So, yeah, I think given Villa's personnel and the tweaks he keeps making, Gerard, he's got a squad who can be adaptable and versatile. So whatever he chooses to do, he'll look to exploit Liverpool. It's easier said than done, and tough task on Tuesday, but who knows, mate. Would it be surprised if I see three at the back? A little bit, given the way Liverpool play with one front man and they all interchange, maybe. I think he might stick with what we've done today. But to go two up front against Liverpool, Dan, would be quite bullish, wouldn't it?
What about three at the back? Chambers, Mings, Konsa, Dean and Cash as your wing backs or your full backs. Nakamba and Timo Rabunen potentially as two DMs, with maybe McGinn as your third midfielder, with Watkins and Ings up front. A really defensive 3-5-2.
Don't put it on them.
The cynical among some Villa fans will wonder how that game will play out with the Gerrard factor, I would assume, just because the reputation of Steven Gerrard beating Liverpool to cost them the title, that kind of storyline coming there. But the professional he is also, he's not going to roll over and say, here you go, Liverpool, here's 30 points. But there is kind of this extra additional storyline, isn't there, to that game now?
I think you want to beat them. You want to prove to him that, look...
Will he want to beat them and stop them winning the title? There's a part of me that can't compute that.
No, he's Villa manager. He's got an ego himself. He's got an ego himself, and if he wants that top job one day, then this will go a long way in doing that. Beating Liverpool, it'll be some story. Yeah, I haven't got my head around it yet. I'm still at Turf Moor, yeah. But I'll get my head around that one. It's some story, isn't it? Well, we wasn't allowed to ask him about any Liverpool questions because his pre-Liverpool presser is tomorrow, so that'll all come out then. But yeah, it is a funny little story, isn't it? And like you said, but if you're a professional,
he'll want to win every game for Villa. There's just that little part of me that thinks the Liverpool connection. Back to Burnley and Turf Moor, then we talked about Coutinho and Buendia slightly, and that's kind of the biggest talking point on the comments and on social media this afternoon. Do we need Coutinho? And it's kind of this £30 million headache for Gerrard, and we know his stance on it is he'll want as many top players as possible, and to a certain extent I agree with that. You don't turn down a player like that. But if finances are kind of not limited, but 30 million is 30 million, and his wages are going to be a decent whack as well, does that kind of take away from another position that we need? Because when Emi Buendia, if you're only going to play one number 10, one of those is going to sit on the bench at some point over the course of the season. So do you just say, right, we don't need Coutinho, Buendia plays 38 games, hopefully, regarding no injuries, and we spend that 33 million elsewhere? We know Gerrard's team Coutinho, although he does love Buendia as well, to be fair. So how do you assess it? What do you think will happen with Coutinho?
I'd say just back the manager in what he wants to do. Let him build his own squad. He obviously wants Coutinho in on a permanent deal. Yes, it is a risk. Yes, it is pricey. But you've got to back the manager, and you live and die by that decision. He wants as many quality players in through the door. I think Coutinho can help people come in. And he's got that draw, hasn't he, about him? And yes, we need to see a little bit more. He's only shown it in a handful of games. But with a good pre-season behind him. Obviously, it was a stop-start campaign for him last season at Barcelona. He hasn't been himself. Arrived at Villa, did really well, and he's obviously tailed off a little bit because I think he's probably overperforming in the first few weeks. But I'll back the manager with this one. Back it's his call, and I'd back him, like you say. Buendia will go through peaks and troughs of form. Coutinho, likewise, but you've got both of them. Take your pick, innit? And two good players.
It's kind of like the Watkins and Ings thing, wasn't it, at the start of this season? And now it's kind of nailed on that they start every game together for the rest of the season. And I think there was a stat. I think Villa posted that Ings had got 3 assists and 4 goals in his last 7 games, or the other way around, 7 goal contributions in 7 games, something like a goal contribution every 59 minutes or something like that. Which is pretty impressive. Watkins as well, up to double figures now. The first Englishman to do more than 10 goals, to score more than 10 goals in back-to-back seasons since Gabriel Bonlahor. The first Villa striker to do that since Christian Benteke. Good statage, robbed it from elsewhere. When we talked a few weeks ago about, we reviewed our pre-season predictions and we're saying like 35 goals for the both of them. We kind of set them a new target, didn't we, of how many to get for the rest of the season. And we kind of said if Ings and Watkins can get 20 between them, that would be a pretty kind of decent end to the season.
It's good.
They're pretty much on track for that, aren't they now? Is it 17 between the two of them?
What did I say back at the Aston Social? 35? A bit off
I think we said between 30 and 35 between us, which, I mean, if that happens, we're in for a real treat to the end of the season. But if they can kind of continue the form that they've shown in the last 2 or 3 games, you've got 2 games now at home against Palace and Burnley, who Palace have got a top 10 finish to play for. Burnley are obviously still going to be fighting, but I'll come back to that in a sec. 20 goals seems achievable between those two, doesn't it?
It does it on form as well, Dan. Strikers on form are dangerous propositions for anyone, even Liverpool. So Watkins and Ings will cause Liverpool problems on Tuesday. I believe that. And like you say, for scoring goals, it becomes a habit. So long may continue. Ings is 3 off 10 now, so he'll be aiming for double figures. And Watkins probably a bit of a tough.
He got 14 last, didn't he? It'd be nice if he could match last season, but
go close to it. So long may continue. Let the goals keep flowing.
Yeah, what I was going to say is there was talk before in the last few weeks, I think probably maybe before the rest of the game, of like, Villa might be in trouble and where's the next points coming from? And then you get 7 out of 9 and start scoring goals. Clean sheet, again, would have been nice today to make it 3 in a row. That's slightly annoying. But people are going, Burnley, like they'll take 6 points off us. It's like, what were we worried about? Burnley look pap, and whoever finished, if they're not the ones to go down, whoever finishes below them, they're a poor side because they've had this little mini resurgence. But
Burnley,
that's probably one of the most comfortable games we've. Like, to be fair, they've had some half chances, but they're straight at Martinez from the bits I've seen. But that was fairly routine from Villa to be 2-0 up at half time, and then that third goal being a killer kind of moment. 50 minutes or something like that early in the second half, that kills the game. And I'm looking at that next Thursday or Thursday after next, Burnley at Villa Park, and should be beating them again.
Yeah, you sure? There's a bit of trepidation in the press room beforehand. Not from me. Obviously, I was back in Villa all the day, and they said, "Oh, bit of a tough one today. Burnley won the last 3 games, fighting for everything." But I thought, you know what? Villa can burst the bubble today. They can't keep winning games, and given Villa's quality they've got, and I like the team beforehand. I like the team he picked. Bit of a tweaking system, and I backed him, and they did today, and fully deserving of that 3 points. And very good away day it was, and just that clean sheet at the end. I was gutted about that. I clean sheet in my copy quite a bit. I had to rub it out quickly. Get rid of it quick, and that was a bit annoying, but very good away win today, and everyone was on it. Everyone was on it today.
A comment from Really Random Review says, good win, for sure. Tom says, best away win of the season, which I still don't think I can quite beat Man United away just because it's Man United, although everyone beats them. So Simon says, great performance. Having a proper defensive mind in number 6 makes such a difference. Big shout out to Emmy as well. Simply superb. I like the little time wasting stuff, and people go, no, it's only Burnley. It's only Burnley that have had a good little run with 3 in a row. You beat what's in front of you. I don't care who it is. So I don't mind a bit of time wasting it, 2-0 up after 40 minutes, because teams do that to us, and we sit on the podcast and go, oh, it's annoying Kasper Schmeichel doing this, doing that. Now we've got someone who can do it instead, so let's enjoy it while we can. But how important was that first goal for you, being in the stadium, to go up in the first 7 or 8 minutes, whatever it was? Burnley have got to come out anyway, being the home side, but
They did. Yeah.
they've got to do so even more after you go up early, because if it gets to 0-0 at half time and starts to get a bit antsy, Villa, it's kind of thinking, how's this going to go? Fans are getting a bit weird about it. Get rid of all that by scoring early, and that's what Villa did, and that's so important.
Yeah, it was very open in first 10 minutes. It was end to end at times, and like I say, Martinez was playing up a little bit, taking the sting out of the game, and like you say, Villa went for it themselves, and Buendia found that little pocket of space, and Watkins and Ings were making the runs, and he found him, and yeah, he did settle the nerves a little bit, quieting the crowd down, and then Martinez was playing him up terrible, which was good to see. So took the sting out of the crowd today and got them really frustrated, and Villa got the rewards.
I thought you were going to keep going. I was just going to comment saying Man United 4-0. There they are. Man United are losing 4-0 to Brighton. Bloody hell. Maybe us beating them away isn't that impressive after all.
Brighton above us, aren't they? Are they?
Brighton are above us, yeah. They got 47 points. Is that live? Is that now? It is, yeah. So, yeah, they would have been on 44. That win, it's much to 47. Yeah, that's mad. Man United losing 4-0 to Brighton. I think that's pretty much it. Man of the match, Buendia, I guess. Was there any other standouts?
9 out of 10. Danny Ings and Watkins up front were good value. Ings was on for an 8, but he played him on the side. I docked him a point. A bit harsh. 7.
I saw a few people on Twitter talking about Dean, maybe saying that was his best game for us.
Yeah, very good. Luke Dean. Yeah, very accurate, very good going forward as well. He had a hand in 2 of the goals. Luke Dean looked very good today, defensively and offensively. I don't know. I was in Benidorm last week. I seen Dean was starting. It was a miraculous recovery from his collarbone.
Yeah.
Gerrard rolled him out for the final 2 games maybe, but he's come back now and done really well. So long may that continue.
Yeah, I'll have whatever Lucas Dean's had for breakfast over the last few weeks. He's really turned it around.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it. It's pretty quick one after the games, as always. Obviously, I've not seen the full game properly, so it's hard to kind of have too much of an opinion. Well, it's a bit of a weird week, isn't it, with us playing on Tuesday with Liverpool, so we might do another podcast on Monday, potentially, and kind of look ahead to Liverpool a little bit deeper. So exactly. We might do definitely a Facebook Live. I don't know if it'll be a full podcast. We'll do the post-match show for Liverpool on Wednesday morning, because it's a night game on Tuesday. And then it's Sunday, isn't it, for Crystal Palace, you said. So, yeah, bit of a funny week, but the season ends in 2 weeks. So let's enjoy the rest of it while we can and get another couple of wins under our belt, hopefully.
100%. Felt good today, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? I mean, it's like I said before about people saying, it's only Burnley, but a win just makes everything feel better. For me, I'll beat anyone. It's 3 points. It's enjoyable. It makes the rest of your week easier. I don't care who it is. Just winning games is fun. So let's just enjoy it. Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. As always, Ash, thanks for your time. Get yourself back to your car and back home. Well, one little gripe, and this just annoys me, not about the game. Gerrard said about sending the fans happy home up the M6. I was like, nah, it's down the M6. I hate stuff like that. People say, I'm going up to London. No, it's not. You're going down to London from here. Yeah. Anyway, get yourself back down the M6, Ash, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks very much for watching. I'm going to leave you with the 1982 trailer, as always, and we'll see you again later in the week.
They had the trophy on the pitch, and they were throwing it around to each other. I just felt that day
angry.
I just felt, we're going to take this off you next season.
The work rate from that team was unbelievable.
Is that including me, Shorey?
Yes, that's including everybody.
That's making up for you, Shorey.
But I think he was a type of manager who'd quite happily win every game 1-0, didn't he?
Yes.
It's like he didn't want to win 4-3 or 5-4. No. It wasn't like that. You give nothing away.
Tony didn't come in and give any ultimatums or anything like that. He was, we all knew Tony anyway, but Tony didn't need to say anything to us. He just needed to sort of be in charge of us. I felt we were in charge of ourselves. Yeah. Our destiny was in our hands. It wasn't in a new manager coming in and taking over. And
I walked over to him, sat down next to him, and he turned around and he went, "You were lucky."
Did you mean to hit the post with the shot? From the yard out.
And did you still wind him up about that and coming up?
No, we don't wind him up. No, he scored the goal. Listen, none of us care. God, I wish I had scored it.
The best thing about it was, as you were speaking earlier, is that team is the best team the club have ever had and never will have.
I mean, I just think to myself, being captain, there's no way I could have gone up with a Bayern shirt on. I just knew I couldn't do that.
And if you can go through a whole season and trusting each other, in fact 2 seasons really, and trusting each other wholeheartedly, that is fantastic. We never had that again after the European Cup final.
The team of 80, 81, 82, yeah, are true legends in Aston Villa folklore. And for me, like, that just makes us, you know, we're history. And I love that.